Welcome back. This is Photoshop. We are going to actually do chapter 5 in the Photoshop Revealed book. And basically, you need to open up that file first. So you need to go to Open, if you have Photoshop open. And you need to go to the Resources folder in the Career and Technical Education. Go to Media Production, Class Files, Photoshop Revealed, and go to chapter 5. Here you're going to open up 5-2. So open that one up. And you're going to get this little layout first. You're going to zoom in. So hold the Alt button down and roll the ball in on the mouse. And you're going to start off by displaying the rulers. So go to View, Rulers. And now I have my ruler showing. I want to change this to pixels. So I'm going to right click on the ruler and change it to pixels. So now I have pixels up there. You're going to create a type layer. So you need to come down here. We're going to work on creating type layers. You need to come down here and click the T for text. And you're going to go to 45x 95y. So 45 with 40, right in between this line and that line would be 45. It doesn't have to be perfectly exact. And then come down to 95. Here's 80 and here's 90. So about 95, 45 is about right there. I'm going to click. Oh, sorry. First of all, create a new layer. So click over here in the bottom right corner, click layer. And again, go back to the 95, 45, which is about right there. And I want to click. Gotta click text. One day I will figure this out. And click. Now I have a text. So what you need to do is change the text font size to 35. Come up here to the top, change it to 35. So there is no 35. So what you do is just come up here, highlight 12, and on the keypad type 35. You can change the font to Lucinda Sans. So just find alphabetical L, which is right here, Lucinda Sans, and you can click that. And basically you're going to do black, so I need to change this white box to black. And you can pick right now. So now it's really big, and you're going to type Zenith. So capital Z-E-N-I-T-H, Zenith. And then you're going to go down and do another type text, which is 16 point type size. And you're going to do it 70x 180y. So you got to go over to 70, which is right here in the middle, and go down to 180, which is way down at the bottom. 70, 180, and you're going to type, first of all, hit the check mark up here at the top. Now you can do the text and go 70, 180. And you change the point to files to 16. So just type in there 16. You're gonna keep the color black, and you're basically gonna type unique, U-N-I-Q-U-E, and I'm typing in that box up there. So I gotta type 16. Click out of that box and type unique, U all lowercase, U-N-I-Q-U-E, and uncompromising. And just click the check mark. And save your work. So do a file, save as. Make sure you go to computer, C drive, and go to your name, Photoshop chapter 5. So create a new folder called CH5. And label it CH5. Remember, no periods. R. Swartz. And hit save. Okay, so now you're going to create a new layer. Basically, all you have to do is come over. You don't have to do it if you're doing a text, but you could create this new layer. And we're going to type in a new font, a new text, which is design. So basically, come over here to 205, which is right about here, and you want to go to 95. which is 95. And you're going to type, change the font size to 35 again. And you want design, D-E-S-I-G-N. Now it's black, and we actually need to change the color. So you need to highlight it. If you haven't done that, actually you can, I'm going to show you, you can highlight it and change the color by highlighting it and selecting the black box. If you're already out of the thing, out of the text, it's not there. If you come over and just double click design, hit the T, not the design, but hit the T, double click it, it highlights the entire word. So now I can click the black box, and I'm going to change it to this pink. So I can go anywhere on this pink, and I can just select it, and now it gives me that color, and I can say OK. So now I have Zenith Design, and I have the color in a different color. Now I'm going to change I'm going to double click design, and I want to just select the D. So I highlight just the D. I'm going to change the size of the D to 50 points. So I'm going to click this, and it's not there, so we're going to go type it 50. And I'm going to do it to the Zenith too. So double click the T on Zenith and just highlight Z and type 50. So now I have both Z and D at a 50 font, and now I want to do a baseline shift. I want to drop this Z down just a little bit, and the way you do that is you got to have the window open. So you got to go to Window and come down to Character, Styles, or Character. And when you open up Character, it opens up this panel. If I hover over it, it's going to tell me baseline shift. With this right here is baseline shift, this one. So right now it's at 0. I'm going to type -5. So I'm going to drop it down 5 points below. And just hit the check mark. And now I want to do it to the D also. So I do that, click the baseline shift, highlight 0, -5. And you can see that I dropped it down just below the line, just a little bit. Okay, we're going to do a text design layer because right now this isn't too fancy. I want to do a text design to this, to the design text. So I'm just going to make sure that is active. I'm going to come over. You can collapse this window first. Just by clicking that, it sends it in. If I want to open it up again, I can click this and it opens it back up. But now I want to go to layer, and I want to do layer style. And I'm going to actually do a couple different things in here. The book only has you do one. I'm going to add a couple things in here. First of all, let's add a drop shadow. And actually we had this done on the Zenith file, but we'll do this on here. Basically, click the black, and I want to do a white shadow on there. I'm going to click, instead of multiply, I want normal. And you can see now it created this shadow. I'm going to drop the size down just a little bit. The spread I want, but as far as distance, I don't want that much distance. I just want a little bit of shadow there. And then I'm going to do a bevel and emboss. So I'm going to click this box now. If I just click the box, it turns it on, but it doesn't go to that. You got to click bevel and emboss and make sure its box is checked. And this is a cool feature because if I turn the preview off, look at the design, what happens. See how it's still flat? The preview gives this beveled look. So I can change this look by just basically dragging this up and dragging it down, and you can see how it changes the depth. Size, I can change the size, and I can also change soft and make it softer looking. So you can mess with all that. You can change this inner bevel to a emboss. You can do outer bevel. You know, you just mess with it. But this is what I want: inner bevel, depth at 103, size at 7, and soften at 7. You can also change the angle here of how it's being casted. Okay, but I want 150 degrees. So I want 150 in there. The screen size, you can change this to eventually when you work on your own stuff. But basically I have a drop shadow and I have a bevel and emboss. Those are two things that I use a lot. I also use stroke sometimes. If we click the stroke, you can see what happens. It adds a black line around it. You can change that color, you can change the thickness, all that. I'm turning the stroke off, but you can mess with these other things too. I'm just going to say OK. And now you can see how this looks a little bit more nicer looking than the Zenith. Cool thing about it is I can apply the same design over to Zenith by going and right-clicking on Design, Copy Layer Style, right-click on Zenith, and hit Paste Layer Style, and now it has the exact same effects. I'm going to change the white to a black shadow, so I'm going to double-click on the Drop Shadow, and I want to change it to a white, or a black, sorry. And so you can see it shadowed a little black over there, and then also the beveled edge. I'm going to bump up the depth a little bit. And then I want to maybe see, look what a stroke would look like if I dropped a 1 point stroke on there and changed it to white. So you can kind of see what that looks like. Opacity, I'm going to drop the opacity down just a little bit, so it gives a nice little faint, it's almost pink now. Maybe if I go, we'll keep it at normal, but you can see it gives a nice white line around the edge. We'll just leave it at like that and say OK. Okay, now you want to select the unique and uncompressed layer. We're going to add in a Gaussian blur. Basically, you want to go up to filter, and you want to go down to blur, and you're going to go to Gaussian blur. This must be rasterized before proceeding. So yeah, filter, blur, Gaussian blur. It says you got to rasterize it, so you just say OK. And then you want to do 1 pixel blur, say OK. And now you can see that the unique and uncompromising is blurred out. We do need to move this uncompromising over just a little bit. So if I click that, I can move this over so that we can read the entire word. Make sure you save, go to File, and just do a quick save. And then we're going to add in the founded 2002. We're going to do a text on path. So basically you want to grab the text on a path tool, and if I hold down basically so you're going to do a text on a path, and basically you want to grab the oval tool, elliptical tool, and actually you want to draw this down here. Down here you want the ellipse tool, not the ellipse marquee tool. You want the ellipse tool, which is down here. It's different. I don't want this. This is the ellipse marquee tool. I want the ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw around 200 to 120, just kind of down in this area. Draw an ellipse right about there, and I'm going to grab the horizontal type tool. So I'm going to click on this and horizontal type tool, and I want to type on this arc here. And if you look, when I hover over the line, so when you are basically going to type, you have to hover over the line and just click where you want to go. Now the size is going to be way too big, so I need to drop the size down to a 16 font, and I would change the color to a yellow. So I'm going to click this little pink box, and I'm going to go down here to the yellow and just kind of pick a brighter yellow. And basically you could also come over to the swatches. If you come over here to swatch, I can pick yellow right here, and that's going to be even more of a true yellow. So you can pick these colors. They kind of tell you what color they are. If you hover over it, it tells you what color it is. Anyways, so I went and picked the first yellow right here. Say OK. And now I'm going to type founded in 2002. And actually, I want to change the font to Arial font. So I need to come back in and highlight this and change it to Arial. So scroll up to Arial so it'll fit on here. Okay, and basically I can grab this little point right here. If I come back in, double click this, if I come in, I should be able to move this around. It's kind of hard to change and move this afterwards, so if I just double click this, basically I'm going to delete this layer and move it over a little bit. So I'm just going to drag it down a trash can, come back in, grab the text tool, and maybe click over a little bit farther and type founded in 2002. And now I can come over here and it looks pretty even. So now the one thing is my baseline shift is at -5, and that's why it's down inside the object. So if I highlight it and go to 0, so now I have found it in 2002, and basically what you can do is just hide the ellipse, and now I have found it in 2002. Otherwise, you could have made your ellipse with no color. So again, I can show you. You just click on the ellipse tool and change this fill to none and stroke none, and basically I can create the ellipse tool with no fill. But it's easy too. You can just hide that little circle and you have the little arc there. So I'm going to delete this ellipse 2 down here. One thing I want to do is I want to change the opacity of the founded in 2002. Make sure that layer is selected. Go up to opacity, and you're going to drop that down to 45%. So you can use the slider, drop it, just type in too, 45%. Turn off your rulers. So go up to View and turn off the ruler, or you can do a Control R. And then I want you to save your work. So File, Save. Now you need to dump this into the collaboration folder. So just close it out and basically open up the Career and Technical Education folder, Swartz, collaboration, period, whatever period you're in. And you want to make sure you go to Photoshop and make sure you dump it into the Chapter 5 folder. And you will be done. So make sure you open up your folder and drag it into Chapter 5. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.